Most critical cybersecurity breaches involve the exploitation of improperly managed privileges that attackers use to infiltrate and move laterally across networks. The number of privileges across your environment is constantly expanding. So how can you protect your organization from this explosion of privileges? It requires going beyond just securing passwords to a modern approach that secures every user, session, and asset across your enterprise. The Beyond Trust Universal Privilege Management model secures and manages privileges across your entire landscape. The Beyond Trust platform enables 3 integrated solutions that drastically reduce your attack surface and windows of exposure while boosting business productivity. Privileged Password Management helps you discover, onboard, manage, and audit every privileged account, both human and non-human, and track every session. Endpoint Privilege Management grants the right privilege to the right user or application, just for the time it's needed. Secure Remote Access enables you to manage and audit privileged remote access for employees and vendors. Universal Privilege Management from Beyond Trust gives you absolute control over every privilege in your environment. Go beyond the password to secure your entire universe of privileges today. Visit beyondtrust.com to learn more. Most critical cybersecurity breaches involve the exploitation of improperly managed privileges that attackers use to infiltrate and move laterally across networks. The number of privileges across your environment is constantly expanding. So how can you protect your organization from this explosion of privileges? It requires going beyond just securing passwords to a modern approach that secures every user, session, and asset across your enterprise. The Beyond Trust Universal Privilege Management model secures and manages privileges across your entire landscape. The Beyond Trust platform enables 3 integrated solutions that drastically reduce your attack surface and windows of exposure while boosting business productivity. Privileged Password Management helps you discover, onboard, manage, and audit every privileged account, both human and non-human, and track every session. Endpoint Privilege Management grants the right privilege to the right user or application, just for the time it's needed. Secure Remote Access enables you to manage and audit privileged remote access for employees and vendors. Universal Privilege Management from Beyond Trust gives you absolute control over every privilege in your environment. Go beyond the password to secure your entire universe of privileges today. Visit beyondtrust.com to learn more.
Sorry, Leo, but you're on mute.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, thanks, Anne. Sorry for that technical glitch. Again, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar entitled Reshaping IT Support in the Post-Pandemic. We are glad that you're all here with us today. I'm Leo Tampok, Business Development Manager at Service IT Plus. Some few reminders before we start our webinar for today. So to make this webinar more engaging and interactive, we encourage you to send your questions anytime during the presentation by typing them into the questions pane or sending us directly a message through the chat pane. We will address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. Before I begin, we would like to do a quick poll for this webinar. So as 2022 is approaching, we would like to have a grasp of how will be your organization's work setup by next year. Will you be working fully on-site or still working from home or probably start to continue a hybrid setup. So a quick poll will pop up on your screens and we appreciate if you could answer this. I'll give you a few seconds to answer this poll and thank you. Okay, I guess everyone has already answered. Okay, let me begin now with how the pandemic has affected IT business operations. So the COVID-19 pandemic brought a lot of impact to all of us. It has focused businesses of all sizes across all industries to take a step back and rethink the way they operate. And one of these includes how IT leaders now find the need to reprioritize their technology investments. IT leaders are also reflecting if their organizations are to capitalize on the competitive advantages remote work can offer, because with remote working models being adapted globally, the definition of business as usual becomes a question to most. A Gartner survey on the finance and CFO leaders says 74% will move at least 5% of their previously on-site workforce to permanently remote positions post-COVID-19. So, while there will always be enterprise-wide decisions to be made, CIOs came to understand the fundamental needs of a remote workforce. And a simple but often forgotten component of this is the day-to-day work performed by the IT service desk. All in all, this made the IT world rethink how to run IT service desk in a hybrid remote world. According to Gartner, to run an IT service desk in a hybrid or remote world, infrastructure and operation leaders must adopt how they provide IT support. This is to enable both business consumers and IT service desk analysts work outside of the office. The IT service desk is an essential component of the digital workplace, but one that was rarely seen operating remotely pre-pandemic. When COVID-19 forced many workers to remain at home, both IT service desk analysts and the business consumers they serve were forced to adapt traditional support channels with little preparation. That's why it's important that service desk evolves to meet the changing needs of your enterprise, both during pandemic and after the eventual return to normal. In this webinar, we'll show you how Service IT and Beyond Trust are your partners in recreating a remote version of your IT service desk workstation that would help limit any disruption of service. Just a quick background on who Service IT is. We are an IT solutions partner that provide only the best breed of IT solutions. We help businesses across industries with their digital transformation journey by automating business processes with our enterprise service management solutions, integration of technology and security, while delivering our best practice consultancy services. We are partner of choice, driving your business to the next level. Our partner speaker for today is from Beyond Trust. Beyond Trust is the worldwide leader in privileged access management, empowering organizations to secure and manage their entire universe of privileges. They are trusted by 20,000 customers, including 70% of the Fortune 500 in a global partner network. And for our speaker today, let's welcome Chris Lee, the solutions engineer at Beyond Trust. Chris has more than 8 years of experience in the privileged access management and identity access management space. He will discuss with us the impact of remote working and challenges in the service desk, and practical guidance on ways in which IT service desk can move from traditional mandate of doing more with less to better, faster, and cheaper. Hi, Chris. Good afternoon.
Hi, Leo. Good afternoon.
Okay, turn it over to you.
Thank you.
I'll stop sharing.
Sure. So let me share my screen.
Okay. Yeah, we could now see your first screen, remote support.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so thanks again. Hi, everyone. Thanks again for joining our session today. So today I'm going to talk about remote support and actually what it means by Beyond Trust, especially when it comes to service desk efficiency. So in today's talk, I will be focused a lot more on how to improve the service desk efficiency, especially in this pandemic, right? So, and we will going to hop on into a quick demonstrations of technology and how does, the solutions are going to solve the use cases, and followed by a Q&A session. So, so when we talk about service desk efficiency, basically the tools that go along with it. Typically, we are talking about trying to resolve something or outsourcing to someone and trying to document, and we need to manage that. So basically, it's basically a long process. So we're also going to talk about some of the frequent challenges in the service desk realm, and we're going to talk about the benefits of remote support tool when it comes to helping organization for better remote support efficiency. So we're also going to talk about how does the privileged account is going to be used by the remote support personnel, and how does the privileged account is basically exposing the risk, and how do we actually protect those accounts with remote support tools as well. So based on what we learned from our customer over the years, as you can see, these are some of the key challenges when it comes to service desk and remote support. And these challenges has even become amplified since 1 or 2 years ago during the pandemic. And we talk about an increase in the remote workforce, like what has mentioned by Leo. In order to allow the business to continue running, that there isn't a choice, right? So as a result, the pressure basically impact the ability of the service desk to provide a support in this rapid changing of the customer or organizational need. So we talk about some of the key points here when it comes to resources based on the increase of the users to support the work from home requests, and also the changing the working mode from the office on site to working from home actually gives the IT support team a lot of pressure. So how do we actually handle that? So when it comes to changing it started from the traditional approach that users are being on the same network, and how do we effectively switch this from to a remote working, whereby the service desk personnel is going to be away from the end users or the customer, and how do we actually provide a secure means of communications all together with the users without impacting their productivity as well. So how do we connect with the users quickly and give them an efficiency of when it comes to the support. So there is a lot of questions around process efficiency as well. So there is too many manual process when it comes to providing support. So imagine starting from a triggering, getting help from support, all the way to receiving the helps and accepting the cases, for example, and establish a communications with the users, and we're going to look at how do we actually handle the questions, how do we actually provide a remote support, how do we connect to the users, and all the way to the end of the sessions, how do we actually consolidate all these reports when it comes to remote support. And this is also a big challenges to all these organizations when it comes to consolidating all this process, right? So we're also going to talk about software solutions that is not being implemented in an enterprise manner, meaning a lot of organizations actually to support all this entire process, they are actually using different kind of tools. There are many support tools out there, and basically each of those support tools are meant for solving only one process or one challenges. And how do we link all these process together in order to help out with the support efficiency. And also we talk about security and productivity. There is a fine balance between the security sides and also the productivity of these remote users. So a lot of work from home cases has been switching around, even on the BYOD devices kind of use cases, and then how do we basically allows the support help desk to be able to provide support, and at the same time we are still maintaining the security standard for the organization wide, and also we are basically aligning the security requirements to all this compliance mandate, whereby we still have a tracking on what the support help desk does. This is also another challenge. So when it comes to privileged account also, we talks about a lot of exposures when it comes to this help desk support personal access. So some of them may require us to use on some of these privileged accounts, but a lot of these support tools out there doesn't even streamline the process into giving out privileged access. So these are also some of the challenges. So let's move on into more details on the challenges right here. So we are basically breaking down into three different categories. So we are talking about inefficiencies, we are talking about scalabilities, and of course the most important thing that nowadays enterprise are looking at, which is the security aspect. So definitely we are emphasizing a lot of security, and the next one will be the features and functions, and being able to give the support desk the efficiency, right? So again, we're talking about using multiple tools to provide support. Like I mentioned before, how do we actually give multiple kind of support? There are different use cases out there. There are users that basically using PC, they're using basically using Windows platform. How do we actually use the same tool to provide a support for the remote Mac users as well? And also sometimes not only attended access, there are also unattended access that sometimes the support team actually needs to provide support for some of the server infrastructure. So basically it's about how do we actually consolidate all these processes into a streamlined method, right? So we also talk about collaborations. So how do we effectively giving the ability for the help desk personnel in order to streamline the support process when it comes to escalations, when it comes to communications among the support team, in order to solve the problem, reduce the single contact resolutions, and also remove the need in order to to bring forward the support into next escalations into multiple layers as well. So and the last thing definitely is talking about how do we actually provide the integrations with a lot of ITSM solutions out there that the organizations are using. A lot of time when this support personnel are done with the support, and the next thing they need to do is focus on the addressing other challenges with other support case, but unfortunately they need to spend a lot of time in order to update the support report in order to tell the management what has been done during the session, and basically making the report. So how do we actually streamline the process of even making the report to be able to get intact of the process of ITSM as well? So the next point will be, talking about scalability. A lot of time the tools that we are using are not having the scalability, not only in terms of the operation perspective, also a lot of time we are talking about the scalable in terms of security. So when it comes to security, is how do we actually scale in to basically meet the organization need in terms of giving out a granular access to the users. We don't want to just simply give the powers to the help desk personnel to perform their job, and end up we are actually sacrificing or compromising our security. So we also talk about how do we actually maintain the standard of using the single tools in order to provide the support, and also easily we can scale the solution up to basically scale in order for meeting the business need when it comes to scale out into multiple branches and etc. So the last thing and the most important thing is actually in the security perspective. So a lot of time there is using a standard tool doesn't give you the ability to actually comply to a lot of these regulatory compliance. So a lot of customer of mine, are looking at, talking to Beyond Trust simply because they have a lot of audit findings, especially when it comes to giving a remote support, and when this remote support personnel evolve to start using some of the privileged accounts already, and this even give them a bigger issue. So how do we actually effectively track all this access when it comes to giving it compliance requirements, especially when it comes to security perspective? And also whichever users or whichever support personnel, what they did onto the systems, and what have all these actions that has been done during the support remote support session. We are trying as much as possible to actually gain some visibility onto the session. Not only we want to basically do a security review, but when it comes to even when there is a real incident that is happening, how do we actually tell us exactly what has done, and try to actually revert the changes, or try to bring back to or salvage a situations whereby there is a downtime, and situations like that, right? And the last thing is probably having integrated security. How do we actually maximize the value of existing investment of all these security solutions, and being able to actually make use of this existing security infrastructure to be able to handle in terms of the security integrations. So this is basically the points of having the ability to actually give the ability to all these support personnel to be able to handle the case and a lot faster. We talk a little bit about the problem around inefficiency. Therefore, being able to having a chat support really brings the support process into the next level. So a lot of time during the old days, there is a lot of people doesn't really believe into using a chat. So what they normally do is that in order to have a better interactions with the users, what we have to do, we basically have to call the user. So actually this trend has been reversed, and giving the ability for our customer to actually use the chat tools is actually reduce their support cost by 30 to 50%. So this is based on a lot of research, and what happened is that using a phone call to one-to-one support to certain users is basically wasting a lot of resources for the help desk support team. So imagine if one person needed at some point of time to actually support multiple customer or end user. So what happened is that if they are going on for a call, end up they will be spending a one-on-one time, and not being able to handle multiple cases. So using a support tool definitely bump up their ability to actually support multiple person, multiple users at the same time, and also having the ability to instantly elevate the sessions into a remote support or screen sharing session will also be reducing their first case first contact resolution. So meaning first contact resolution, operations efficiency increase, meaning the SLA also having a better result. And having the ability to actually integrate with the chat website, or customer portal or enterprise portal that you already have, and even integrate it with for example Microsoft Teams will be able to streamline the entire support process. Imagine you're basically initiating a support call right from the enterprise communication tools or collaborations tools like Teams, like your enterprise website, and etc. So having the ability to integrate with all these platforms by using the REST API approach is going to be it's really great, right? So we're also talking about how do we actually route this chat to the correct support personnel based on their skill set. is also a good one. So that we don't need to spend a lot of time by assigning the cases, having someone to actually assigning case. So we can basically bring our users to certain landing page, and then we ask them, what's your problem, and with based on what they filled up, based on the skill set of the support personnel, we basically assign to the correct person in order to answer all the questions that is needed to be answered. So 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 there is also a lot of requests coming from different countries, especially when it comes to languages. That there is also it's going to be a good one to basically integrate with a lot of translations enabled applications, so that even we are speaking in different languages, we are still able to basically communicate with the users. And also we are talking about elevations to the remote support kind of scenario, which I can basically do a demo later on to everyone. And basically the next one is basically talking about the advanced tools that again bring the support scenario or the support help desk into the next level, especially when it comes to the giving them the ability to secure, to basically give them the granular permissions to be able to support multiple monitors, for example. Is going to be bringing up their support scenario into a better users experience. And for example, we talk about how do we actually perform a patches, and then immediately we need to do a reboot, and how do we are able to actually reconnect to the users without having another communications in order to establish the session again. And we talk about how do we giving the exact permissions on depending on the tier of the support. Sometimes we have lower tier of support personnel are not supposed to access to certain features and functions. We do have a role-based access control within the solutions to make sure, depending on the roles of the users, we are giving them the appropriate permissions to do their job, to solve the problem. And we also talked about a lot of efficient tools, like having a file transfer to basically transfer some of the important logs file, or support the session in terms of unattended or attended, or even doing a deployment or upgrade activities. We can also use the tools to basically perform those. And there is a lot more possibility when it comes to frequent tasks, right? So there is time that even this remote support tool doesn't give you the appropriate tool set in order to assign to the support personnel. So what happened is that there is also some custom script or custom actions that these support personnel are basically frequently accessed. We can basically do some customizations in order to streamline their workflow. So when it comes to the platform support, a lot of time that this is also becoming a question when it comes to different industry and different business out there. We have customers that coming to us, for example, they are in F&B kind of sector. So what happened is that they definitely have different kind of system. They have POS machines, they have kiosks, for the customers to actually order food. So how do we actually support all these devices, or all these embedded Windows device, for example, and how do we allow the support personnel from anywhere in the world to actually support them? And the support personnel could be on a vacations, and there is an emergency situation that they need to basically use their mobile devices, for example, to provide support. So with all this, we do support multiple devices from different platforms. For example, we do support Windows, we do support Mac, we do support Linux as well, and even some of the Chrome kind of technologies, and there is a vast support for that. So definitely this is a great tools for to be able to support different platforms. So so when the problems really arise when it comes to the support, for example, in the middle of the sessions, we talk about how do we actually perform a better escalation path instead of just stop at the issues right there. There is hurdle. So So we can't simply let our support personnel just stop right there. So having a incident for certain critical system that is going to be needed to be able to resolve as quick as possible, and that there is basically a collaborations tool built in from the solution itself that allows us to basically do escalations quickly for our support process. So for example, level 3 engineer attended the case based on several escalations already, and basically he or she may not be able to handle the case, needed to basically elevate the or escalate this to the vendor or principal, and as easy as they can just create a secure communication link that this can be delivered to the vendor, and all parties basically from end users or from customer to the support personnel and the vendors can basically work on the same sessions together in order to increase the efficiency to solve the problem together, right? So one of the a few of the last point is actually we talk about empowering the users to really reduce the service ticket. That means everybody will basically win, right? So fewer tickets related to users permissions, or even fewer tickets that is related to the malware of compromised apps. So for example, a lot of these help desk tickets are triggered coming from users simply telling you that, oh, I can't install certain software. So this also triggers a lot of different remote support cases, and how do we actually enable or empower our users to in order to do so. This is where our some of our endpoint privilege management product comes in, that can really helps to actually reduce all these support cases by empowering them to do exactly what they're supposed to do in order to reduce the ticket. So all these solutions that by Beyond Trust come hand in hand together in order to basically give you the streamlined approach of giving support. So again, we talk about operation efficiency a little bit already. So I think one of the big things here is able to increase the operation efficiency. So we want to be better, we want to be faster, and basically we want to be cheaper eventually to basically reduce all these support costs. So we gotta be better first, right? In order to drag ourselves into in a bit of faster scenario. So having tools like being able to do a secure file transfer all in the same session, being able to have a multiple chat support, having multiple parties to solve the problems together, being able to even having a good medium to actually nudge the users in order to give them the better users experience, to remind the users we are on the same sessions, being able to having the customized kind of scripting to be able to support a lot of different custom use cases are going to basically bump up the operations efficiency. So so there are really a security aspect of it, whereby whereby a lot of help desk personnel are basically getting involved into the privilege account area. So when it comes to support, we are not only talking about just solving an issue. Sometimes solving an issue may basically require us to use a lot of different privilege credential. So how do we actually giving out the privilege credentials to this support personnel, and also at the same time we are able to track exactly what is going on during the session, and prevent the all this support help desk personnel from sharing all this privileged credential, but still being able to help them to basically elevate their sessions is one of the important points. So later on in the demo, hopefully I can share one or two use cases on this matter. And I think we already discussed a lot of this, pain point. I think, the things that I want you to take away from my side before the demo is really, a lot of these, tools, a lot of these different tools can really solve the problems. But unfortunately, a lot of these, regular tools are just being able to solve one of the process at a time. So how do we actually, link all this process together in order to solve the remote support scenario would be best, right? So by using a remote support tools from Beyond Trust will basically gives you the consolidation from the very beginning of the support process, from initiating a case, accepting a case, logging issues, and basically establishing the sessions, and not starting from a full-fledged remote sessions. We can start off with a chat, increase efficiency, and then escalate to a remote screen sharing when needed, and how do we end the sessions, and how do we generate the reports in order to fulfill compliance requirements, and also we talk about customer satisfaction scoring, and how do we do a survey, and all in one process, right? So this is what we are trying to achieve. And basically the last thing I want to talk about is Beyond Trust as a product or as a solutions vendor also integrate with a lot of your existing products that is in our technology partner. So so whether it comes from authentications, whether it is coming from a ITSM perspective, or whether it is come from a security perspective on having integrations to be able to do a central logging and stuff like that, or authenticating the users, or in terms of security, how do we integrate with a multi-factor authentications, and all these are basically on the same solutions that will be able to achieve, right? So just feel free to actually visit to our website and get some of the resources right here to help you with your remote support, right? So without further ado, I'm just going to be stepping into a demo so that we can actually conclude the session, right? So let's get started. So what I have here is definitely a remote support tools that is being logged in as a support personnel. So what this support personnel will do is from this console itself, he or she can basically manage all these incoming requests from the user. So as a user's perspective, it's pretty easy for them to actually get help from Beyond Trust. So what they normally do is that if you look at this machine right here that is running out of somewhere in the Australia perhaps. So definitely when it comes to I need help from one of my support team. So what I should do, definitely we can start off with a support process by triggering this help from my support team by going our landing page. So as soon as we load up the landing page, of course we can do certain customer branding or corporate branding. You can put up your own logo or customize this entire web page, or integrate to your own SharePoint or own website, right? So to be able to streamline the support, we can even integrate with ITSM solutions and start off from generating a ticket from there to basically trigger the support. But for now, I'm just going to be showing you how do we actually initiate a help directly from the website that is come out of the box from the solutions. So as soon as we land into the website, we just have to click on someone that is online to serve you, or we can if we have a pre-communications via email, we can also enter a session key directly route to this correct support personnel, or we can just log into a case as an issue, whereby this will route to the support personnel that is expert in certain area. For example, I got a VPN issue. Once I log this as a VPN issue, I will be routed to someone that is expert in troubleshooting of VPN network, right? So with that, I'm just going to be clicking on the link of these users so that I can get help from. So this is basically a dissolvable client. As soon as we end the session, we will basically remove the client for the users. So what happened here is that, as we load up the client, there is a secure communication going on. So all we need from the user's perspective is just an outbound internet access that can be, reached to the remote support solutions. regardless the users from anywhere, they are supposed to be able to receive the help, right? So the next thing we can see is that as a support personnel, I can see, I am receiving a help already, so I can definitely see how can I accept this uh, support request. So I can either transfer this to someone else if I'm going to lunch, for example, but or of course I can just accept the session as soon as possible to to help out the end user. So once I accept the session, what I can see as a support personnel is that I can immediately start, by using our templates and start, having a chat with this user. At the same time, I can also help out a lot of different, user out there by having a chat session to begin with. If this is not enough, definitely we can bump up the support scenario into a screen sharing session. So for example, if I step out to screen sharing session as a user, I can see that, I need a consent from the user in order to start up the session. So especially when it comes to privacy, and also the security, and this is how we, allows all these requirements to be fit, right? So as we move on to the sessions already, we definitely see the session has been established. I can do a control even directly to the user's workstation. So as I step to the sessions, I can also guide the users along the sessions. I can have annotations. I tell the users how to perform certain things. For example, I can educate my users, or I can draw on the screen to tell the user specific region or specific instruction that they should follow in order to achieve certain steps, right? So I can also talk about, how do we do a troubleshooting by even, pushing a script or pushing a instructions to different machines depending on the requirements. I can also push down for example, connections, troubleshooting tools in order to solve a problem. So for now, as you can see here, I can also elevate the entire sessions by basically using a privileged credential that is stored, from the solution. So sometimes as a support personnel, I can't, even solve the problem simply by just looking at the screen, and therefore I need to elevate myself as administrator, but at the same time we just don't want to give out the privileged accounts to my help desk personnel. So what I do is I let them basically assign some privileged credential to them. They don't know the password, but they can still ask for the session elevation. So from the user's perspective, they will basically see, it's getting elevated. Do you want to elevate the session? If I say yes, so what happened is that we will re-establish the connections with the elevated rights. So what happened now is that, the session is now being elevated, and I can even push down certain tools with an elevated right. So for example, I want to look at, I want to troubleshoot certain hardware. I can just go up to device manager as a, system privilege, for example, in order to troubleshoot certain hardware, right? So this is going to be great without, even do a elevations, without giving out the administrator credentials to all my support help desk, at the same time giving them to do the jobs that they require. And we also talk about a lot of these sessions, a lot of time we are basically going on for a, different locations when it comes to, certain locations that having a high latency network, and how do we actually cater that by actually using our tools to basically reduce the connections requirement in order to fulfill certain high latency kind of use cases, right? So at the same time, in the same session, if I wanted to I can't solve the problems now, as I mentioned before, how do we actually getting help from third-party vendor? So for example, I wanted to invite Microsoft in order to solve the problem. So what happened is I'll just be generating the link, or send this link via emails to this Microsoft support team in order to help me to troubleshoot certain things, right? So for example, Microsoft engineer will just have to go to the link and join the session without installing any tools, right? So at this time, Microsoft engineers should be able to work on the same session at the same time, at and basically there is a collaboration there, right? So we can basically all parties that is required to be on the same sessions, to be able to shadow, to be able to learn, or to be able to training or solve the problem altogether, right? So this is basically how powerful the tool is to basically cater for this different scenario. So with that, I'm just going to be jumping on to different use cases. Like after the fact of the session, it has been completed. So what we wanted to do maybe is just do a file transfer. We can also do that, but all in all, this is just based on the rights of the users. And the second part of demo will be actually talking about some of the unattended use cases. So what if there is a needs to actually support some of the servers environment. So how do we actually do that? And we just have to assign the rights to this correct support personnel, and they can do the same thing without someone actually attended to the system. So meaning they can just use the tools to actually connect to the server, and at the same time they can use the same credential injection method provided by the remote support vault in order to secure the login. So at the same time, they can do the login again to be able to do whatever operations task that is needed by using this same tool, right? So this is how we actually handle the unattended support scenario, right? So with that, I'm just gonna stop my demo right here. I hope this is an informative sessions for all of you. Thanks. I'll be handing over back the sessions to Leo.
Thanks, Chris. Let me just share my screen. Okay, can you hear me, Chris?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Thanks again for sharing a lot of information and showing a quick demo of Beyond Trust. But before I dive in onto the questions on the panel, let me just highlight that based on the fact that we require service desk focus on efficiency improvement, should start with better, faster, not cheaper, recognizing the business impact of IT support cost efficiencies that adversely affect business operations and outcomes. So just to highlight that point. Now going on to some of the questions. So there's one question in the time as well. I'm just gonna read on two questions. So the first question is, what is your solution for service desk to send secure SMS to end users? SMS will be sent by a known sender instead of a random number. I think he's talking about an integration for. So, hello, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
So right. So looking at the questions, I guess this is more on the our approach to actually integrate with ITSM tools in order to actually send out the appropriate SMS to the users when it comes to our session. So what happened is we already provide you with the tool sets like what I showed in the demo, that we can basically generate secure link. We can send the we can basically give out the code. So what happened is by default our solutions will only be using an email approach to actually send out the so-called code and generate the code for the user. So what happened is if you want to basically use the SMS approach, this is really based on the integrations or based on the existing capability of the ITSM solutions to basically send out the SMS to the user. So we can also use certain things like APIs in order to grab the support code to be able to deliver the SMS, but we basically are not the solutions that trigger the SMS and send out to the user. So just it's a matter of integrations by using our REST API in order to capture the data, including generating the ticket or secure link to be able to establish the communication.
Thanks, Chris. And maybe just to add in and answer the question, the Service IT has done implementations, implementing the service desk, integrating it to a remote tool, and then integrating it on SMS. Basically, you're correct, Chris. No? It is the service desk who will be driving the SMS. So in terms of implementation, we have implemented, we integrated an SMS gateway. So this is an on-prem install wherein we've implemented the gateway, and then from that gateway, the company subscribe into a local number here in the Philippines, and once every ticket, for example, is logged, an SMS is also sent using that SMS gateway. The other option is that right now there are a lot of online like SMS gateway that they usually tend to charge on a per text. So you just need to connect to a certain URL, and then you'll be able to use that URL and send an SMS, integrating it to directly to the service desk tool that you're using. And actually, with the API, like what Chris mentioned, you could also integrate that as well if you want to do SMS notification. So hopefully we were able to answer that. And then another question, Chris, that I want to read is what's the difference between a free remote access tool and a Beyond Trust remote support? As you can see, there's a lot of free tools right now. So we want to differentiate and what will be the advantages of using Beyond Trust between a free solution of a remote support tool.
Right. So basically, if you look at the standard tools out there, we could not guarantee that for every connections to every platform will simply follow the same security standards. So for example, if you talk about standard RDP connections, if you talk about SSH connections, there are use cases whereby there is even a VNC connections. So in a lot of this scenario, all this remote support in a more restrictive environment simply doesn't even turn on those protocol for a secure session. So there is a concept within our solutions that we call it using a jump client. So basically, we will establish a secure connections that is being encrypted and with TLS protocol standard, right? Is basically as high as possible as today's 1.3 TLS 1.3 that govern all this encryption protocol that we basically how we actually establish a secure communication from the support help desk personnel all the way to the users out there. And the beauty about it is that even for the user side, there isn't even a need to actually accept the so-called inbound connection. So all this communication is being triggered from the user side to outbound connections, which you can effectively reduce a lot of effort when it comes to implementations or deployment that is going to be installed in within the corporate network, for example. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Chris. I think I could read one more, probably could answer this very quickly. What deployment options are available for Beyond Trust remote support? So I think the options on how to deploy this or use Beyond Trust in the organization.
Right. So the good news is the solution basically gives you quite a good flexibility in terms of how do you want to choose it, the solutions to be deployed. And being the nature of using the solution is going to be connects from user that is from anywhere to anywhere. So the first choice of a lot of new customer is that they simply want to go to a cloud kind of deployment, meaning we will basically manage the solutions infrastructure for our customer, and all they need to do is just provision a internet access. So we we will be able to effectively connect the users and also the support help desk to be able to just straight away provide services already. Or if you do have a more secure environment or a more stringent process in terms of how this data to be stored locally in certain places, of course we do have a on-premise kind of setup whereby this could be a hardware kind of setup, or this could be a virtualized kind of setup that fulfill all these different requirements.
Thanks, Chris, for answering those questions. Moving forward, but don't worry for those questions we were not able to address. We will take note of those, and our team will reach out to you and address those concerns and questions. So moving on, I just want to do a quick poll again. Do let us know if you want a free trial of Beyond Trust Remote Support solution that was just presented by Chris Lee. Choose your answer through our poll section or tab on your screen, and we will definitely reach out to you soon after this webinar. Please grab this opportunity. This will be a free trial of the Beyond Trust solution that Chris has just presented. So I'll just give you a few seconds to answer, and hopefully everyone will be able to answer the poll yes, so that we could reach out and use the Beyond Trust. Okay, so hope everyone was able to answer. We also value your feedback, so we would like to get your thoughts on how we can improve further, or if there are any topics you would like to hear from us, from our team, please help us improve by answering the feedback questions that will pop up soon as we end this webinar. And this ends actually our session for today. On behalf of Beyond Trust and Service IT Plus, thank you all for giving us your time today. Should you have any further questions or inquiries, you could send us an email at inquiries@serviceitplus.com, and you could also contact us on our social media platforms, Facebook and LinkedIn. Thank you again, Chris, and thanks again, everyone. Until next time, have a good day and be safe. Bye for now.
Thanks, everyone.
Chris, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.